here, right now, in this service, this morning, right where you sit. And we know this power and presence leads and guides our lives. And it permeates every single cell of our being. So we bless this service that each one of us receives exactly what we have shown up here to receive, knowing that we take it out with us into the world and bless everyone we come in contact with. So as we bless this service and dive deep, we release this and let it go to do the amazing work that Spirit has shown up to do through us. So with a heart filled with gratitude, we release this and let it go, knowing that it is already done, as we say together. And so it is. Now I'd like Reverend Angie to do the affirmation for us this morning.
Thank you, Belinda. I have the affirmation here, which is usually posted up here for you to read along with me, but we don't have our slides working today, so perhaps I can go ahead and do it through the usual 3 times that we would do, and if you could just hold space for me while I do that and just know the truth of the affirmation, that'd be a great way to get through it. Tapping into our inner source of freedom allows us to live that freedom into our daily lives. Tapping into our inner source of freedom allows us to live that freedom into our daily lives. Tapping into our inner source of freedom allows us to live that freedom into our daily lives. And so it is.
And so it is.
Is that from you, Yuli? Thank you very much. No, I just wanted to make sure that it's beautiful. And Yuli, who's a practitioner here, will be speaking to us in just a few minutes. The wisdom that she shared. So it's very heartfelt and very deep. So, Jared, namaste. If you would come up and just begin to play some music as we go into meditation, and Reverend Angie will lead us into meditation, and then we'll go into a few minutes of silence.
Everyone want to take a deep breath? Have you ever felt all alone? Have you ever felt all on your own? Well, the truth is, you are not alone. And the truth is, we are not alone. Have you ever felt true peace? And have you ever felt your soul at ease? Well, if so, you are truly blessed, yes. And if so, then forget all the rest. As I sit here on my own, and I let my thoughts gently form into song. Well, I know that I am blessed, yeah, truly blessed. So I forget all the rest.
Beautiful.
Staying in this energy with the song, we move into the idea that we are truly blessed. Each and every one of us here today. It was a blessing to wake up this morning when there are those who did not. It was a blessing to have an able body to wake up into, to bring yourself here today. It's a blessing that we have a place to come together and gather in fellowship, in oneness, and in harmony, and in peace. And so I invite you to take that feeling of that blessing and take it within and truly feel it. Let it flow throughout every part of your being, through all of your consciousness, until you are at peace. Let it begin with you. Enjoy your meditation. Staying in this energy just a while longer, we continue with that feeling of inner peace as we move into the divine healing. And we know that peace is one of the highest vibrations that we can inhabit and allow it to inhabit us. That this frequency is healing by its very nature, and that when we are in peace, we are a healing instrument to ourselves and all those around us. And so we understand the importance of attaining inner peace. Our inner peace becomes our outer peace, and this is how the world is changed, one piece at a time. And so it is our sacred privilege today to be at peace, to know that peace, to live from that peace, and to take it out into our worlds as each of us move about and have our being and have our effect in a beautiful and natural way. And I know that even as I speak it, it is so, as together we say.
And so it is.
Peace be unto you.
And so now we invite Jared Namaste back up to the stage. Oh, by the way, he's doing the main song right now, and he has his CDs for sale on the table at the back of the service. So let's give you a warm welcome, and thank you for being here today.
Woo!
Thanks for having me. I feel really grateful to be here with you today. I feel like a big theme, hearing that the theme was freedom. I've just been traveling a lot lately and meeting so many people that are releasing old patterns and releasing old things that are no longer serving them and stepping into their new higher yet to be, and it feels like kind of a global theme going on right now. So this song is called Not the End. This is not the end, not the end. learned to take my medicine. Morning, noon, and night, repeat again. And then I learned to breathe it all in. 'Cause I've been to those retreats, and I've read those new age books, and I've reasoned with some reverends, and I've sang till my soul shook. I've looked to all religions, but this is what it took in my life to fall apart, so I would humble down and take a look at love. Love is the power that heals. Now we know that love is the power that heals. This is not the end by far. Nothing gets destroyed, it only changes form. Let I be reborn, let I be reborn, let I be reborn, let I be reborn. This is not the end.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you. Awesome. Well, good morning. So happy to be here. Hang on.
It's a sticker. It's okay.
What's that?
That's a sticker. It's okay.
Okay. There's a little orange dot so that we don't wander away too far.
Essentially, you're okay. You do what you need to do.
So I just move my arms. Okay, because I'm Greek. So there's that. So today we're going to talk about freedom, and my theme today is freedom rings from within. And so many of you know that I'm a psychology professor, and so I'm going to bring some of that here because remember, I think I've been here before, and the word psychology comes from the Greek, and I'm Greek, so I can claim it. And the word psychology comes from the Greek. We pronounce the P, and that's why it's there. Thank you. We pronounce the P, that's why it's there. And so, and the word psyche, or psyche, S-Y-C-H-E, yeah, psych or psyche, we actually pronounce it psyche, and that's your soul. So psychology started out as the study of the soul. So that's where we're going to take it today. So this semester, summer semester, I have some courageous students who are taking what we would normally teach in 16 weeks, and they're doing it in 6. Fun for me. But yeah, 15 chapters in 6 weeks, it's a lot. But what I love about social psychology, and it's kind of like, you know how things in our lives have, like nothing happens by accident, right? Everything's on purpose. Social psychology is the study of how we are in the presence of real or imagined others. And when I say imagined, I'm not meaning like voices in your head. That's a totally other class. It is the imagined others, where you sit and you wonder, like, what would my mom think if she knew I was thinking this? Or what would my partner say if they saw me doing this? So those are the imagined others. And so that kind of limits our freedom, in a way, when we get into that kind of thinking. And much of, you've got to be conscious and do things ethically, but when we get self-conscious about things, what we know is that 90 to 95% of what we do is driven by our subconscious. And this is, I have no backing for this, because the subconscious is not really amenable to research. It doesn't like to show its face. But what I think is that the subconscious is our ego, and our conscious is our soul. So if the soul is driving the bus 5% of the time, that doesn't really serve us. It doesn't create the possibility for freedom. And we even talk about that still small voice. So what I'm hoping to talk about today is turning up the volume to that 5%. Let's make it a loud, vivacious, joyful, truthful, self-affirming, loving, powerful voice of the soul. Let's turn it up. Let's have that drive the bus more than 5% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want to talk about today. How does that happen? How do we do that? So we're going to harness the power of what the brain already does and have it serve us. Okay? We are going to have our brain serve us. Now, our brain is wired for survival. That's its job, to keep us here. Like, I think I've said this before. The brain had a vision statement. It'd be like, don't die. just don't die. And so it learns things. It learns things in two really major ways that we're going to talk about today, and we're going to have it come in service for us. The brain learns things, especially before the age of 7. Can you imagine? We don't have discernment before then. We can't go, you know what? I don't like that way of thinking, so I'm not going to believe that anymore. We can't do that when we're that little. Our brain remembers things that are repeated. So if something happens over and over and over again, our brain takes that information and says, well, this must be important, so I'm going to make this automatic. I'm going to make this automatic pilot. So for example, let's say as a child, learning is in quotes, you learn that when you reach out to someone for support, when you have an owie and no one helps you really with it, or you get in trouble for saying it, you learn that you got to do it on your own. You learn that people can't be trusted. And you start to develop coping patterns that dim your light, that make you feel small and unimportant. And if that happens often enough, which usually those things are not one-time things, you learn a pattern of truly shutting yourself down, not reaching out. Because it's repetitive, and it hurts, and you gotta survive. So you gotta figure out how to take care of that owie, whether the owie is a scratch on your knee, or isolation, or rejection, or yelling. You find ways to deal with it, and they become patterns, because your brain's like, oh, this happens often enough, it's a pattern, we're going to go on automatic pilot, and it gets shuffled away into the subconscious. And then we grow up as adults, and we respond to people in relationships in those ways, because they became a pattern embedded in our brain. So the Buddhists say, there is no path to happiness, happiness is the path. We can substitute happiness for anything. Peace, joy, love. Anything. We can substitute that. So those are the path. The path is joy. Joy is the path to joy. Peace is the path to peace. But how do we do that? How do we do that? Well, we're going to harness the power of repetition. Okay? This is why we do affirmations. So sometimes, like for me, it helps to know why something works for me to do it. If I understand that my brain understands that what I pay attention to, what I do a lot of, must be important, because I wouldn't do it if it wasn't, must somehow support my survival. So the invitation here is to kind of engage in some affirmations, some that ring true for you. Because at some level your brain will know if it's not. It's like, well, that doesn't sound right. I don't know about that one. So your soul, and here's the thing, your soul knows what's true about you. Your soul has never been harmed. Your soul is an intact entity. It's just kind of quiet because it's getting drowned out by the ego. Subconscious is like, you know, you're not pretty, you're not smart, you're not this, you're too much of that, you're too demanding, you're too needy, you're not capable, you're not pretty, you're too old, you're too... All of that stuff that is loud because it's been so repeated. So affirmations are great because if we repeat them, then your brain's like, okay, this must be kind of true if I'm hearing it a lot. But it has to also be infused with emotion. Because emotion is the other thing that drives shifts. You have to believe what you say. You can't just go, yeah, I guess I'm pretty. Maybe I'm smart. You know, maybe I'm not too old. It's like, no, I'm not too old. I am just at the right age to be doing what I'm doing. I am flourishing, I am abundant, I am beautiful, I am, peaceful beyond measure. I am love, and I love myself and others around me. I am serenity, and you have to believe these things, and you can't just say them once. Because the path to happiness is the path. Joy is the path. Serenity is the path. Certainty is the path. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it, and this is what you do. You can actually, this is what we need to do, because your brain has gotten into patterns, and your brain is mass. Your thoughts are things that they have energy. There's neurotransmitters and electrical impulses that travel through your brain, and these are entities that have essence. They have space, and so let's we could go into a whole lecture on like brain, 100 billion neurons in there doing all kinds of things, and we want to be more in control of that for ourselves, because our brain is wired for survival. We want to thrive, we want to build, we want to be our soul here on earth. And that's where we get our freedom. That's why freedom is an inside job. Another way we do this is, for example, cognitive behavioral therapy. We can do that to ourselves. So if you start to think things like, well, I suck at this, or I'm not pretty, or I'm too old. That's mine. I'm too old. I'm looking into getting a doctor. Like, who am I to be getting a doctor at, my age, 57? Maybe, I'm too old. Well, let's kind of explore that a little bit. And I want you to bring something to mind that you think, or that you are kind of stopping you. Because here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to digress a little bit before we go into this. Because it's how my brain is working today. So, welcome to my journey. What we know is that a lot of us have a sense, because we've learned it somewhere, that, well, I can't do that. Like, let's say, the whole doctor thing. I can't do that. Younger people do that. Smarter people do that. People who have XYZ do that. And we talk ourselves out of all kinds of things all the time. So let's not do that anymore, because here's the thing, you become a different person when you step into something that you're not sure about. So let's say you want to, grow carnivorous plants, feed me Seymour, or you want to go into glass blowing, or you want to learn how to play some instrument no one's heard of before, and people around you are like, really, is that what you're going to do? Are you serious? Or whatever the chatter is even inside your head, those imagined others, right? You're going to spend money on that? What are people going to think if we have these plants that eat things? What are people going to think? It's like, well, to heck with people. Whatever. Because they're not here. And when you step into something, you find out cool things about yourself. And you would not have found out those things if you hadn't done that. I submitted my application to the doctoral program on Friday.
Woo!
And they have all these questions they ask. Like, what do you think about this? Or, why do you want to, that was a good one. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to go into this field? Why do you want to do this? What are you going to do with this degree and this license? Very good questions. I had to dig deep. Right? So you find things out about yourself. You are a very different person. And let's say it's something small, so imagine a garden. Okay. And we're not talking the carnivorous plants. This is just
regular.
This is just a garden. I don't know where that came from, actually. I don't know. Feeding Seymour, I don't know. Let's say you've never gardened before, or let's say you're like me and you kill cactus. Yes. But you decide you want to grow a garden. And you do a little bit of research, and you get some soil, and you get some seeds, and you get what you need. You get your gloves, and you get your tools, And you go into your yard and you plant, and you put your hands in the dirt, and you plant, and you have whatever it is that you're planting. And maybe you start small, just a few things, or just maybe one thing. You choose something easy. I'm not sure what that would be. I'm not a gardener. I do kill cactus. So, yeah, it's not for me. But something easy, like flowers. Maybe that's what you start with. But something comes over you. Something that would not have happened had you not started on that path. You start to focus and see yourself as this different person. The person who likes to put their hands in the dirt. The person who, plants seeds and witnesses the sprouts. Then you start to see them grow. And maybe some of them don't. It's like, okay, well, that I kind of learned something. That was feedback, okay? Kind of learned different soil, maybe different fertilizer, I don't know, maybe the sun and water, whatever it was. So some flowers grow and some don't. But what do we focus on? Because we live in this kind of negative space. Oh, kind of I suck at gardening because only half my flowers grew. This is some of the chatter that you learn in those first 7 years. But it's about what we focus on. We notice what we notice. Half the flowers may have died, but half the flowers flourished. And now you've been invited to someone's home, and they just got a new home. So you go to a housewarming party. You buy them a beautiful vase, and you show up to that housewarming party, not only with the vase, but beautiful flowers from your garden. What a beautiful gift that is. That was you. You did that. You grew those flowers. You stepped out of your comfort zone. You figured some stuff out. You tapped into your passion. You just shifted some of that subconscious 5%. Now maybe you're at 7, maybe hopefully 10, because you witnessed yourself doing something you hadn't done before. And then maybe you start to think, oh, I hear flowers. Maybe next time, next growing season, maybe I'll try tomatoes, or cucumbers. Maybe I'll try, am I here?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try, I don't know what's an easy thing, vegetable to grow, but I'll try blank. And then that goes well. And then the next year, you get a little more complicated. Next thing you know, you are growing a bounty. And you're feeling amazing. You witnessed yourself make a shift. And now you're at 15%. Because in that journey, you had to answer some questions. You had to tap into some of those doubts. So it's not just about the tomatoes and the cucumbers and the flowers. It's who you became on that journey. And I don't want you to diminish that. No. Because if you can do it there, where else can you do it? Where else can that happen for you? What else can you create? Maybe it is carnivorous plants. Next year. I don't know. But the point is that you would not have even welcomed that if you hadn't started with flowers. Maybe you get a chicken coop. I don't know. I don't know. But you won't know either. So part of that journey, checking my time, part of that journey is you're going to have doubts. And so this is going back to cognitive behavioral therapy. One of the things, so the left side of your brain is positive emotion. Okay? I remember that because the L left is laugh. So that's how I remember. Mnemonics. But we want that part of the brain to fire more. And what we know is medication just takes care of symptoms. And when you stop medication has its place. Definitely has its place to bring us some serenity, some peace. But I would recommend that if you are struggling with anxiety, depression, or some other way that kind of ties you up into and stops you from allowing that soul voice to be loud, you don't have to go to a cognitive behavioral therapist, because here's what they do. And I want you to do this out loud. And you might sound like a crazy person. Just go in your room and just tell people this is what you're doing. You're doing self-therapy right there. Ask yourself to explain why you believe what you believe, if it's a negative thing. So for example, this is I'm also writing a book. So this is the kind of dialogue I get into. Well, who am I to write a book? Who am I to go to that school? Who am I to do these things? Well, who are you not to? Who are you not to? Somebody does it. You know? So explain to yourself why you think you shouldn't. Because when we have these beliefs that circle around in our heads like the NASCAR. It's like just kind of over and over and over again. It's like left, just circling all around in there. But it's when words hit the air that they lose their power.
Mm.
So if I were to explore, so here's my inner exploration about why maybe I shouldn't go to grad school, which is BS, belief systems. I don't know what you were thinking. God, I'm older, you know. So I'll tell you what the PhD is going to be in, because I'm getting it. Because, well, I haven't said yes, but it's just inevitable. I'm going to get a doctorate in clinical sexology, so I'm going to be a sex therapist. Yeah, I know, right?
Woo!
So that was a little challenging to tell y'all, because now it's on video, and it's viral. It's going viral. Come sit, get an appointment at 18 months. Give me 18 months. But who am I to do that? And like society has these ideas about what that is. You know, it's like, oh, it's this like saucy and like whatever, you know. And like, who am I? And you know, here's a question I've gotten from people. Like, well, how can you be spiritual and talk about sex? Like, really? That's a question. I don't know, sex can be very simple. We've done right. So the point is, it's like, okay, so how do you combine those two things? Well, I believe that it's connected. You know, part of our journey in this life, whether it's laughter or cooking, I think cooking is very spiritual. Right? Anything we do through our senses, we live through our senses, has a spiritual component. So exploring that question was easy. You know, or like, well, what are my kids going to think? You know, what are people around me going to think? You know, do they think I'm some deviant pervert or something? People are going to think of these things. It's like, no, because a lot of what we learn in the program is how to provide support for people who have struggled with trauma, people who have struggled with social rules around sexual expression and their sexual being, judgments around their gender identity, around their sexual orientation. And the work I will do will be to help people release those anxieties, to heal those wounds, so that they can build beautiful relationships with their partners, so that their partners can understand their partner's journey of trauma. So there can be this mutual support and this beautiful healing around a topic that nobody really wants to talk about. Shh, don't talk about sex or politics at dinner. Whatever. So that's beautiful work. It's beautiful work. And it means a lot to me, and I feel honored to be stepping into something like this. And it sounds weird because it's sex, and people think it's dirty, and whatever. Whatever. It's not. It's beautiful and sacred. And if we can shift our world's perception of that, one person at a time, I think we'd all be healthier people. I think we'd have healthier relationships. We'd have a healthier sense of self. Because when we deny an aspect of us, and this goes back to that 5% of the soul, when we deny an aspect of us, whether it is growing carnivorous plants, going into glass blowing, or being sexual in the way that we desire to be sexual with consenting partner, with somebody that we feel close to and trust and want to build that experience with, that taps into an aspect of us that we would not have seen had we not taken that journey. So it's about asking yourself questions. Like, why don't I do this? What's the worst that could happen? I mean, really. What's the worst that could happen if you grow carnivorous plants? Keep them small. Just keep them small. Not one of those like Little Shop of Horrors plants. None of those. But what's the worst? What's the worst that could happen if you pick up a hobby or start playing an instrument that people don't know? What's the worst? I mean, if you go and garden, you've got bounty in your yard. You have healthy vegetables and fruits. You have beautiful flowers to gift your friends. If you tap into your sexual nature, you enrich your relationship, not only with your partner, but within yourself. There's power in knowing ourselves and opening ourselves up to understanding our different aspects, whether they are a hobby, an interest, a purpose, an aspect of our relationships that we treasure and love. When we tap into it, ask ourselves those questions of what's going on? Let's get to the root of this. Why am I self-conscious around my sexuality? Well, when I was younger, it could be this. Well, when I was younger, I really felt like I was not in the right body. That what I look like didn't match how I feel. That my identity is different. And I know I have the parts of a girl, but the first thing I want to do is grow a beard and have my breasts removed and really embrace my masculinity, because that is who I am. And that is truly who I am. And all I want is to connect within myself those pieces so that I am fully in myself, my full identity. A lot of what we think and believe is horrible BS. And you can make it mean the other thing. Because they're identity robbers. They're identity robbers. What if you are a gardener? What if you are a male in a female body? What if you are gay, lesbian? What if you are an author? And society says, well, those things don't, they don't work, they're not normal, they're whatever. Something in some Bible says this. Or something around, well, if it's not making you any money, why do it, blah, 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 and this chatter. Why not do it? Because when you do, you tap into your full nature. And when you tap into your full nature, that is the soul speaking. That is the soul within you that knows you. That is turning up the volume on that truth about you. Because when you are comfortable with your body and your sexuality, you are tapping into your life force. You're tapping into your true sense of self. You are becoming expressive in ways that maybe you would not have been before. You can create a deeper intimacy with your partner that maybe you wouldn't have had you not tapped into your true nature. And that's true not just about your sexuality, but also about your passion, about your interests, about the things that you love. Don't let anyone take those things away from you, because those are sacred and they are yours. And they are part of your soul's expression. And when we allow those things to come through us from a free space, we turn that volume up. And maybe the dream is that we bring that soul up to 51%, because then we are truly free. Nothing out here can stop us anymore. Nothing out here. I want to leave you with a quote from Ernest Holmes, because it's what we do. But I love this quote. So man must be created with the possibility of limitless freedom and left alone to create it. So let us be left alone. Let us let go of those societal belief systems, or BS, we'll just call it bullshit, of that societal bullshit. Let go of those things. Because those people, that quote I love, it's like, the people who matter, the people who mind don't matter, and the people who matter don't mind. And
Yeah.
you're first to decide what matters. And bring your mind in to be your ally in the full expression of your soul. Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you, Yuli. Good luck. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome to have a goal. I'd like to invite Jared up again. Reverend Angie's going to do a prayer for us, the joyous time of giving, and then if you would play a song while they pass the that would be lovely. Thank you so much.
And so once again, let's just go again for a moment. Gently closing our eyes, gathering our intention and our attention and bringing it inward and upward into our higher truth, our higher connection with divine reality. As we prepare our offerings and our tithes today, giving to the center in monetary ways and energetic ways, so that the work of the center may continue to move forward and grow and prosper in divine and wonderful ways. And we know that it takes each of us, each and every one of us, to achieve that. And so we are grateful to all of you who give in whatever ways it is to yours to give. And I know that even as I speak this, it is already said, already done. As together we say,
And so it is.
All right, what a wonderful talk. That was perfect. Thank you so much. I am just got last minute notice. I'm leaving to Hawaii for 2 months.
Ooh.
Starting on Wednesday. I'm very excited about that. So if you would like to buy a CD or anything like that, that would be a great help me on my way. And this song is called This Guitar. I take this guitar in my hand, and I set forth a prayer across this land for peace everlasting, for joy sustaining, for love surpassing all human understanding. I take this guitar in my hand, I set forth a prayer across this land for peace everlasting, for joy sustaining, for love surpassing all human understanding. Give me one good reason why we can't create a new world. Give me one good reason why we all can't live in peace. And I'll give you one good reason why we got to try our best with this life that we've been given. For you know we want to live. You know we want to live. You know we want to live. So I take this guitar in my hand, and I've said forth 1,000 prayers across this beautiful land. Peace everlasting, the peace everlasting, the peace everlasting, the peace everlasting, the peace
and thank you so much for the gift of your music being here with us today. Namaste.
You can take it over to Angie.
And so on behalf of the Spiritual Center, whoa, I'm going back in time. The Amani Center. I accept these offerings and tithes knowing that they are pressed down and overflowing and meant to do nothing but good and wonderful things. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you.
Are the kids on their way back in?
I don't see him.
Out there somewhere. We'll just bless them when they come back in. So thank you so much for joining us today in the service. If you'll come up and do a closing song with us. Maybe something we could chant back and repeat if you have something. So I'd like to invite everyone to stand.
All right. Well, a lot of times I like to start these services and end them the same way with feeling better because, we are truly blessed. So hopefully you still remember it. It's just I'm feeling better all the time. I sing that 3 times because I am truly blessed. I'm feeling better all the time. Oh, I'm feeling better all the time. Yes, I'm feeling better all the time. Because I am truly blessed. I'm feeling better all the time. Oh, I'm feeling better all the time. Yes, I'm feeling better all the time. Because I am truly blessed. One more time. I'm feeling better all the time. Oh, I'm feeling better all the time. Yes, I'm feeling better all the time. Because I am truly blessed. Yes, we are truly blessed.
So be willing to take a chance and experience true freedom as you maybe just test yourself a little bit and try something new. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bless you. Namaste.
Namaste.